ألان عنده ميزة في أعماله من خلال السيرش اللي سويناه والبحث متقارب مع الفكرة اللي إحنا حبينا ننفذها خلال معرضنا في هذه السنة. فبعد ما سوينا البحث وشفنا التقارب الفكري تواصلنا معه، لقينا إنه هو الشخص المناسب اللي ممكن ننفذ لنا إياها بالأسلوب اللي إحنا نطمح له. The bridge. I want to express the meaning of the bridge through this items that you will create.
And obviously we want to create something new that hasn't been used or done before as well.
Yeah.
So if you can send me any imagery and things like that, that'd be fantastic.
My name is Alan Williams. I'm a metal artist and sculptor, living and working in Brighton. Since childhood, I've always had a kind of an interest in using old stuff and making new things from old things. But it's only been the last 5 years that's kind of had a big resurgence in the work I create. My daily routine usually involves getting up early, and then I get to my workshop where I kind of have my own space and my time to kind of create my sculptures. The Industrial Union wanted me to, they thought it was a good idea to get me to Kuwait to kind of have a look around, kind of check out some of the local customs and cultures and things like that, and the markets. A trip to the old market, get a real sort of sense of the old Kuwait as well, because obviously it's a very modern city, so for me it was great to see some of that old culture and a lot of the memorabilia from that, so I think that kind of helped inspire some ideas. The trip to the brass market was particularly exciting for me because it's something I share similarities with a lot of the people that kind of work there. It's great to see workshops and the tools and sort of machines I recognised, and all the junk they had lying about that to me was like a kid in a toy shop really. On the drive out through the desert to the scrapyard, again, I was absolutely a kid in a candy shop. I wish I could have just scooped the whole place up and just taken it home and kind of had that as my resource for making sculptures. I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to visit the big Kuwaiti steelworks, which blew my mind. I mean, to get a chance to see things like that up close and kind of feel the heat and all those processes, this was on another level entirely. This is on such a big industrial scale, and the electrical arc furnace. I mean, I've never even seen anything like that. It kind of blew my mind.
شركة خادع للخرافة وأخوانها تأسست سنة 1975. كانت بداياتها الأعمال الحديدية، وتطورت ودخلت بمجال الهياكل الفراغية وصناعتها، وأيضا مجال المقاولات الإنشائية.
Kufoma historically was known for bespoke furniture, mass production of furniture. Today we're going into new ventures. Some of the ventures include designs of several categories which we've undergone over the past 2 years.
تنويع مصادر الدخل وخلق فرص العمل وبناء بنية تشريعية ممكنة للقطاعات الاقتصادية في دولة الكويت وأبرزها القطاع الصناعي هي من أهم التوجهات الاستراتيجية للخطة الإنمائية بدولة الكويت. على هذه التوجهات الاستراتيجية قامت فكرة نيو كويت 2035.
On a visit to a kind of a foundation for local arts and dance and culture, I spoke with Mrs. Farah and kind of about the foundation and the things that she was looking to and hoping to achieve with it, and the things that they already had achieved with it.
Center of the Arts هو بلاتفورم أو محترف لجميع الفنانين سواء مبتدئين أو محترفين صغار كبار. الهدف إن نكتشف مواهب كويتية أو بالكويت بالأحرى عشان ناخذها حق the next level سواء locally ولا خليجيا ولا حتى عالميا، ولله الحمد عندنا مشاركات عالمية.
And I went up and did a great little workshop with some of the children and did some brainstorming with them, and that was really good. That was really good fun, and in fact that sparked a lot of ideas and energy in my mind as well about this project. You know, I kind of had my list, and I was walking around talking to the children, kind of getting their ideas, and you know they're just so expansive with their sort of thoughts and opinions that was a really worthwhile kind of thing to do.
From the bottom, you start up with with Kuwait's past, and then as you go higher, you can see Kuwait's future.
A helicopter fully, so anyone who crashes into each other's, hold it, you're going down in a car.
We talked about, someone suggested a tree. Buildings were obviously in my mind anyway in relation to the Q8 skyline. And you know, ideas of music and water, sort of flowing water and history, culture, roads, and then birds. And I kept coming back to this idea of birds. No visit to Q8 is complete without a visit to the towers of Q8. So going up there and being on the viewing platform and having that view across the city was an angle I hadn't yet seen the skyline from. I thought obviously that we've got to go with the bird idea. You know, I was kind of inspired, especially as I wanted to combine the elements of the buildings and the skyline. I started looking on the currency of Kuwait, because usually you can find cultural references and things like that. And I found the hawk, obviously the falcon, both on the money and also on the watermark, kind of when I held it up to the light. The next destination I thought would be an important one to go to was the Museum of Modern Art, and I met Hashem, who very kindly took me on a tour, and I was particularly drawn to this one sculpture of a peacock, mostly because it's kind of reference to the sort of work I do, and there's a piece I sort of understood. And then I started asking him about kind of local wildlife and birds.
Maybe 2,000 birds come in Kuwait.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. This time.
So migratory.
Yeah.
Yeah. From that point, I started to look at the kind of lesser-known species that kind of come through this city, and then I found the greenfinch, which are locally known as khudari. I thought, you know, that would be quite an interesting one to reference in the art. Maybe that could be our sculpture. The greenfinch idea I then took to the union to sort of get their opinion on it, and they thought they were quite into it. They thought it was a good idea, and they wanted to combine it with the idea of, you know, the bridging of kind of old and new. So we thought, well, maybe we could use a cityscape or somehow include this idea of a bridge within the bird.
Is it going to be like in that shape, or?
It's coming into land, so I've looked at sort of still images of.
Okay.
And one of the last things they did.
Yes.
We arranged a meeting between myself and Francisco to kind of draw up an idea and visualize how the bird could look. Within my work, you know, I go for a certain realism. I like to kind of capture a bit of life, movement and character, because it's quite tricky, because my pieces are obviously very static, they're statuesque. But I wanted to have the movement, and Francisco completely understood that. The whole pose with its wings kind of coming forward on that last kind of landing move, and then this idea that we can have the buildings kind of across those flight wings really resonated with me and the way I work. But I really liked his stylization as well, and I wanted to try and emulate some of that in the work I'm doing. So I tried to carry that through in the kind of the sculpture itself, and kind of go for a little bit of stylization on top of the realism that I work with. In my workshop, you know, when I have to start a sculpture, the first thing I have to look at is the structural elements and how it's going to go together. And usually that's a bit of head scratching and kind of working out, you know, in sketchbooks and things like that, how things are going to, it's like reverse engineering a puzzle, basically. From there I can start to sketch out three-dimensionally with the steel itself, which is a great process, because it means it's like drawing with a pen in air, you know, in three-dimensional space, and it gives me an idea and a sense of how the sculpture is going to be. Once I've refined those ideas, then it's kind of about getting the detail in there and kind of getting the right expression and, you know, the eye and the stance, and kind of making sure those things, those elements are exactly right and how I want them to be, and making sure that that translates as well to the sort of wider audience of people that are going to view and look upon it. So on the wings, like with a lot of my birds, I want to use kind of cutlery because it has that repetitive kind of process where, you know, there's repetitive shapes that kind of emulate feathers, and you can kind of create the soft downy feathers with forks, and kind of more bolder feathers with spoons and things like that. So I wanted to kind of create the double skin on top of the wing and below it, and then working down into the body where it'll be more cogs, gears, and show the bird almost like a mechanized piece where it kind of looks like it could almost come to life. For me, this project has been a fantastic opportunity to immerse myself in a culture at first I knew very little about. Building bridges between sort of communities and artistic kind of ideas, and, you know, working with the sort of children who are the future, and sort of discussing things with the older generations, the different communities. That kind of has been a fantastic, you know, experience, that one that I won't ever forget.